Staff has made their closing statement. Can I have a motion to close testimony?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Al. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Testimony is closed. Pat, you have a statement regarding the rights of objectors?
Yeah, I want to make a motion or a statement here regarding those of the individuals that would like to file a petition in opposition of this to force a supermajority vote at the county board. According to the statutes, you have to file your request with the county clerk and by certified mail to the petitioner and one to the petitioner's attorney. You also need to file one with Lake County, the planning department, as we are the secretaries of the zoning board of appeals. We're located in the central commit facility at 500 West Winchester Road. And you can contact me at my contact information is on the website. And just let me know if you're coming in, and I'll make sure I have time for you. I'll make sure I have time to take your application in.
Thank you, Pat. The board want to have any discussion? John?
One thing, and I was a little slow here, and did we need to, before we close testimony, did we need to introduce this as correction? The additions to the, relative to the
file? Did you understand the question?
Are you referring to the amendments?
the additional conditions for the zoning board of appeals that we discussed this night? Do we have to enter them as through an exhibit or just?
The appropriate process would be once the motion is made, then somebody would make a motion to put those specific amendments into your, as part of the motion, those amendments would be voted on, and then the whole package is voted on.
You can refer to those as ZBA Exhibit 1A.
Okay.
All right, John?
Thank you.
Want to let us know how you feel, or?
Well, you want the long version or the short version?
You want the short version?
I've wrestled with this for a long, long time. As many of you know, I've probably carried a placard against any large development within this county for numerous reasons. It's my background, conservationist and environmentalist and all the rest. But after working on this and going through it with a fine-tooth comb and several questions to staff, I'm going to take my coat and change it around. I feel very, very comfortable with this, the way it's come out, and the work that everybody's done on it. I know it's a surprise to everybody, but I will vote in favor of it.
Thank you, John. Dennis, you will not be voting tonight. Only 7 of the board members can vote, so the 7 regular board members that are here do the voting. Dennis is the alternate. Thank you for coming, Dennis. Carol?
I will vote for the project. I really didn't have any idea what I was going to do at the beginning of this, but I do feel, as John said, I feel comfortable, but I feel comfortable because the project has been so thoroughly examined and so scaled, in my opinion, and so scaled back that I think it's appropriate. I think it's an appropriate use in that area, and I do want to say that I really appreciate all the very moving and sincere testimony that I heard from all of you residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Greg?
Thanks. And I just wanted, I started, I think, the hearings back in July and made a comment to all of you that we asked for respect, and I think that was given for the most part during this. So I do want to thank the residents that did come out and voice their concerns, and the petitioner that listened to those concerns, and the village that listened to those concerns, both villages. It was a process with a lot of emotion, obviously. We've got to know, we said this before, we've got to know several of you at different levels through this process as well. And we've shared some heated moments and some joking moments, I think, along the way, and I appreciate that. And you haven't gotten to know all of us that well because we've been listening and taking a lot of the information in. And I just want to say, before I make my comments, that I've served in public office in some form or another for 18 years as a city councilman in the town and on zoning boards. And I've done this board almost 10 years. And we have one of the most dedicated and diverse boards I think you will ever meet. And I know a lot of you have not probably had to deal with zoning boards a lot, maybe for a good reason or a bad reason. But we have a retired school superintendent, retired school teacher, retired pastor, county board former member as well, and myself, and George has been around for so long. So we have such a diverse mix here, and we learn from each other is what I think we really enjoy about this. And we learn from you and appreciate the comments that you brought forward. And over the years, in the past 18 years of being involved in government on different forums, I've had convention and visitors bureaus proposing 25,000-seat arenas that I've listened to and been opposed to. I've had shopping centers that I've been in favor of and been against. One of the villages that I served on the board, we opened an airport, the third largest airport in the state. We had runway expansions and T-hangar expansions, and there was some heated and emotional testimony that time too. But the one thing that I've always done is weigh the facts, and I think listen to both sides. And as I said early on, when the Dimucci's came forward, I didn't go to any of the public hearings. I didn't go to RPC, and I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to taint my vision of what this project was until I heard it presented. And as it was presented, I had some concerns early on with the size, but knew through the process that that would be weeded out. And to our county board chairmen, to the municipalities that came to a conclusion together, an unanimous conclusion together, representing those individuals that you represent individual in your elected official positions. I think this is a project and a future development that will be good for this area. It will be good for the county as a whole, and that's why we're up here, is to represent the entire county. No, all of us don't live in your backyards, and we understand that. But I can tell you that this isn't the first program or project that we've seen in this county of this magnitude, and there's been bigger. In my own backyard in Grays Lake, we have the Lake County Fairgrounds development that was 850,000 square feet, and it still sits vacant today because the economy is not turned around for a developer to be there yet. But I lived close to it. I was in favor of it because it was the best thing to do for the town. We have the town center that they looked at, the Cornerstone project, also on the outskirts of Grays Lake in Fremont Township. Another project that has a similar pattern book that was used, that gave some specific information and some specific criteria to developers that want to come in. And I think as the process went along, maybe that wasn't understood. Hopefully today, you saw that there's so many requirements from every different government agency that the developer that comes in here to purchase this property to develop is going to have to meet. And with those safeguards, with the safeguards we've put on, with the safeguards staff has put on, that the Dimucci's have come forward with, and the villages in the IGA, I think this is a project that will be good for the community overall, and I hope that you see that, and I hope that you open your minds and allow them to see it's not going to change your area as much as you think. And I want you to understand that. If you look at the Route 12 corridor, Route 12 is no secret, it's the north-south transportation mode in this part of the county. And there's no question to my mind that it is a commercial development area. And it will continue to be, and it will continue to spread north as it does go in Wisconsin as well. So I will be voting in favor of this, and again, I thank everyone involved in the process.
Thank you, Greg. What did you mean by I've been around for a while? Jerry?
I'd like to thank everybody for all the meetings that we've had and everybody having to come out, including our board. We're not used to meeting in the evenings. We normally meet during the day. Many people have bent over backwards to just get public comment out. What has happened here from the time that the RPC has met is that the letter of intent and between the two villages and the staff have really changed the direction of these meetings. Before that, it was, the estate zoning was there, and there wasn't anything that I could see that was, it just all sounded like it was gonna be a problem to try and develop. Once their agreement came into play, where we were gonna get sewer and water to this site, that right there clinched it that it could be developed. They picked general commercial, but general commercial contains a variety of things. However, county said, let's do a CUP with a planned unit development, and that brings in all the different, very different types of things that could go on in this particular piece of property. And with all the work that the county has done and will continue to do, and that the villages have come to agreement, which I think that has helped the whole meeting concept, because if the villages were still arguing, we'd still be at meetings right now. So that really helped clear the way for much more determination of what's going on in this piece of property. So once that was determined that we could get sewer and water to here, I think that it is a place that could be developed. It is along Route 12. I really don't think there is a big need for commercial right in this area, but Route 12 is a commercial corridor, and the community here has to make this piece of property what they want of it. So I urge the community to continue listening to the meetings, going to the county board. We do not have final approval here tonight. We just make a suggestion to the county board. So continue to voice your concerns. Any changes that can be made can be still made. We've come up with a few tonight. I don't know that they're the only things that could be changed with this project, but there's always, as Al had said earlier, that you can come for a variation to the zoning board, and things can be changed if need be. So I don't have a problem with this and sending it on to the county board.
Thank you, Jerry. Al?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out through all these meetings. It's not an easy decision, and I really appreciate everyone that showed up here. I live in the Zion area, and essentially it's an area about we take everybody else's uses that nobody wants up there. And if we had the same proposal up in my area, a crowd of 10 would be high. So I really appreciate it. Really, that you're concerned what happens to your neighborhood down here. I wish we would have a little bit of that up there. Like I said again, it's a very, a difficult decision on this. There will be major impacts on the highway on this. There will be. And you can't get around that. And there's going to have to be a lot of road improvements that's going to have to be done, to help alleviate that. And the biggest problem I have with this really is the demand for this type of use currently. The market right now is so static. There's no demand, or even people coming down, saying we want to build these shopping malls. There isn't that right now. Maybe it will be in 5 years from now. And that was one of the things that I really, considered. And I said, how can I vote for this when there's no current demand? That's one of the criteria. But I can't use one criteria, basing my decision. I will be supporting it, and that's why I tried, to put in some balance on here, try to protect the neighborhood a little bit. Because I'd get up in the middle of the night and I would think, and I'd say, what did I miss? Okay, we should, maybe consider a berming. Maybe we should consider, limiting the height limit. We need to do whatever we can to help protect the community down here. I've also, with a developer, doing a development on the property. It's not an easy decision. But I hope we come up, with a decent plan. And I hope, now it goes to the county board members, and I'm sure that county board members, keep in touch with them, because they're the ones that are actually going to make, decisions on a preliminary plat. So, if you still have issues, work with them, because we're on advisory on you. But I just, again, I appreciate everybody showing up here.
Thank you, Rail. Mark?
I want to echo the sentiment of my colleagues on here of thanking everybody in their participation. I'm sure every single one of us that are sitting out here have been sitting out where you are. Because by nature, most of us are very much concerned about Lake County. And we're involved with politics and things like that. And that we've been able to experience the democratic process tonight, and Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. And so when Eric told me, I've spent 37 hours, because I also happen to be chairman of the Regional Planning Commission, and I went through. I was saved one night because I had cataract surgery that morning, and so I didn't have to attend that meeting. Some of you may do remember the fact that I am chairman of the Regional Planning Commission, and I was one of the 3 members of the Regional Planning Commission that voted for this. And the reason I voted for it is because the Regional Planning Commission has the task of doing conceptual thinking, planning for Lake County. And the plan that was presented was an idea that would identify what would be best for this land, and that the owners of the land could go out and find people who would be interested in trying to work within the parameters of this guide. And to me, that made a lot of sense. Instead of getting a developer to come in and then try to negotiate with the various departments of the county to get what they wanted. So that was one of the main reasons that I thought that this had some real good merit. My concern, however, as one of my colleagues on the RTC stated very eloquently, specificity. We're not used to that. We're used to having things identified. What was going to be the traffic patterns, what was going to be the water consumption, and all of those other things. And these were sort of left open. However, we had a document that was saying what you could do within this area. When the 2 villages met and developed the ILG, that was a turning point for me also. However, I didn't really come to my conclusion until really tonight. I was concerned that there would be ways of sneaking around these conditions. Someone at one of our meetings said, we have a problem in developers coming to, agreeing to doing this, and then 2-3 months later down the road, they say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this, it's too expensive, or that. You're going to have to make some changes. Well, that wasn't the old method. Now, maybe this new method, they know exactly what they're going to be able to do and what they have to live with. And when the 2 villages agreed to accept this and make some changes, I started to think more positively for this. I have spent many nights not sleeping because there's many of you people who irritated me with your applause and your constant bickering among yourselves, I thought that's the wrong word, you call me Romney, of your comments. I decided I was going to vote for this. You have worked hard, I know, to try to convince us that this is not proper. However, when I listened to the testimony that was presented, I drew the conclusion, that this would have a possible ability to work. I still wonder if this thing is ever actually going to get off the ground. The economy being what it is today, with a 5-year window, will the Dimucci family be able to find someone who can develop this to the way in which we specified it. So there's that one issue that's hanging out there. But again, I want to thank all of you for your participation and your input. So I will be voting in favor of this.
Thank you, Mark. Well, it's been a long process. Somebody came up during our intermission, lady, and said, you know, we moved from Schaumburg to get away from all this type of stuff. She's very worried. There's a lot of emotion about this whole thing. And I said to her, I lived in Glenview when there was only 500 people there. That's changed quite a bit. That was well before there was Eden's Plaza, Old Orchard. You didn't have any of those shopping centers. As more and more people moved into the Glenview, Wilmette area, all of a sudden came the retailers and all the other businesses, and we had Eden's Plaza and Old Orchard. 1959, my family moved out to unincorporated Countryside Lake. There was hardly anything out here. I think that was a year after Hawthorne Woods was incorporated, and their population might have been 100, but it was mostly farm fields. There were no shopping centers out here. There was no Hawthorne, which is now Westfield. Most everything was farms and just open space in those days. I could drive down Gilmer Road 100 miles an hour and not hit anything. I only had to worry about some farmer, you know, with a wagon behind him, you know, that maybe on the other side of a little hill. There was nobody out here, so I've seen a lot of change. I can remember that if we wanted to go shopping, we had to go to Woodfield. That was the only shopping in the area. Now, all over, there's quite a bit. We got all the shopping in Vernon Hills. We've survived all that, you know. The property values have gone up in all these places. All this shopping that pops up hasn't affected the property values at all. My wife's been a realtor for over 25 years, and the trend right now is people wanting to live closer to shopping. That's been
You don't get
you don't think so, but that's what's selling. People are looking to move closer to shopping. They don't want to travel. I spent 2 hours out here yesterday. That's the third time I've been out here. I went into all your subdivisions, just trying to understand all the comments that I heard during the public comment time. You got a lovely community. I don't think this shopping center, if it's built, is going to have any effect on those subdivisions. They're beautiful now, they'll remain there. There's not going to be traffic. I went through Timberlakes and drove that whole thing because I'd heard comments about this is going to be a drive-through to get to this shopping mall. I had to figure out how to get to 59. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think you're just going to have #1 class shopping center. If it's built, very handy to where you live, and you don't have to travel to Vernon Hills. I don't believe we had some testimony about this is a regional shopping center. I don't buy that concept at all. I don't see people coming from Libertyville to Vernon Hills over here. Yes, if there's a special restaurant or something, yeah, we may. But other than that, I think I've been out to the Deer Park area. I think there was a Dick's out there. I don't know if it's still there. But somebody had given me a gift that didn't fit, and I had to exchange it. So I had to drive all the way out here to do it. I just don't see this as being a big regional draw mall. And for those reasons, really, I guess the other thing is the fact that North Barrington and Hawthorne Woods got involved. They made some changes in the project, and they're your local towns that are most affected by this. So I think at that point I started coming over that this is a good thing. I think also the fact that they can get public water really helped my decision. So I'll be voting for it. There's no comment.
Only comment I make, Chairman, on the exhibit 1A that was provided, the only addition that I would have is on number 1, that after 2 plant units, the words "for every 100 feet" be added. It's just left off.
All right, can I have a vote?
What did you say?
John?
On exhibit 1A, on number 1, where it reads the last sentence, a minimum of 2 plant units, it stops there, and I think it should say
Oh, it should,
for every 100 feet. Make a motion, and before the ZBA, resolutions on petition RK123 LLC, RDDT Limited Partnership, General Partner DFFT1 LLC, Robert and Constance Dimucci trustees for the following properties. And I'll just read the pins. Pin number 1405 300 008, 1406 200 017, 1406 400 004, 1406 400 009, 1406 400 010, and 1406 400 011. In the matters of zoning cases 3746 and 4756, I find that the applicant's petitions meet the standards for rezoning in conjunction with a conditional use permit or plan unit development or a PUD or preliminary plan as indicated in the staff report, subject to the conditions specified in ZBA Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 1A as attached, and I therefore move to approve the resolutions in zoning cases 3746 for rezoning from the Estate E District to the General Commercial GC, and in the zoning case 4756 for conditional use permit for planned unit development, PUD, preliminary plan subject to the conditions as specified in ZBA Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 1A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark Raymond. Call the vote.
Member Keppen,
Aye.
Member Raymond,
Aye.
Member Rindell,
aye.
Member Stimson,
Aye.
Member Westerman,
Aye.
Member Zerba,
Aye.
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye, we adjourn. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
I have an announcement to make to the public before they leave tonight. The Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee has a meeting scheduled for September 25th, next Tuesday. This matter will be on the agenda for that committee date. The location of the Planning, Building, and Zoning Committee's meetings is at 18 North County Street, Waukegan, Illinois. The location within the building is the 10th floor assembly room, and the meetings begin at 8:30 a.m. next Tuesday.
Thank you.
That information is going to be posted to our website as well for all the people that couldn't make it tonight.